everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Wartalk. My name is Stefan. I'm coming to you from the General Warfare headquarters. Go ahead and give me a follow on my socials down below on the bottom left-hand side of your screen right now, and you can find the direct links in the show notes down below. Last week, we got the spoilers for the new Secret Lair drops for October, and as of the recording of this video, these pre-orders are actually up, so you can go pre-order them right now. And one stood above the rest. This one got the most attention from all the circles and all the Reddit pages I've seen. The Secret Lair for Stranger Things. I pre-ordered it myself because one, I thought it was hilarious, and two, the prices on these cards are gonna rise due to the limited quantity. It's the same ordeal as The Walking Dead. Despite the fact I haven't seen Stranger Things, the show, since the end of season 1, it was a good time to pre-order these cards, especially so since you have a little less than 30 days to do so, and these are gonna be dropping sometime in 2022. Nonetheless, we also got a chance to look at these commanders, and we got a new mechanic called Friends Forever, which is basically a pseudo-partner kind of ordeal where you can have two commanders that have the same ability, Friends Forever. That you can have two of them in your command zone, but they have to have that ability itself. And we got 8 new commanders to look at today. So let's go straight into these cards, and I'll see you guys in the outro. Alright guys, so let's get started with our very first card, Chief Jim Hopper. A 4/4 for 2 red and whites for a legendary human soldier with menace. Whenever Chief Jim Hopper attacks, investigate once for each non-token attacking creature. Friends Forever, you can have 2 commanders if both have Friends Forever. So this I really find is a card that has good stats with a great combat ability. Menace is an amazing ability, meaning you can't have your opponents block with just one creature, they have to have 2 creatures block him. Especially on a 4/4, that's really fucking scary. This also lends itself to adding a Boros non-token creature strategy, so you're gonna be playing mostly non-token creatures. Even so, I can actually see this with cards that basically you can have multiples of, like 7 dwarfs would be funny in this deck. 1 and 2 would actually work well considering each non-token attacking creature. So, and 7 dwarves, you can have 7 of them on the field. This pairs well, I find, with Lucas the Sharpshooter, who is a card we will get to in just a little bit. Next, we're going to be looking at Dustin, Gadget Genius. He is a 2/3 for 2 white and blue legendary human with the tap ability, add 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. This card lends itself to Azorius artifacts, which is actually pretty strong. A lot of artifact decks are in these colors too. This is a very cheeky card in send triplets, especially for ramp and getting 10 triplets on the field. I like this card a little bit. Even adding Memnarch to this deck would be bonkers, considering you can just pay for Memnarch and his abilities, and you could just make the entire table just hate you off outright. And he also pairs well with Lucas the Sharpshooter and Max the Daredevil, as I mentioned before, which will be cards we'll be getting to very, very soon. Next, we're looking at 11, the Mage. So this is a 3/5 for 1 blue, black, and red legendary human wizard with the ability your maximum hand size is 11. Whenever 11 the mage attacks, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Then if you have 11 or more cards in your hand, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. This is very, very flavorful, considering the name 11, the maximum hand size is 11, if you have 11 cards in hand. This is just absolute flavor. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the art itself I am not a big fan of. I really feel with 11, I don't know, they could have done something a little bit better than what they did, but that's just a minor gripe personally. Now, her ability itself, I feel like this would be an amazing wheel deck. Despite the fact you have to attack with her to get the card draw and to activate the main ability to go off. But considering what colors this card is being run in, blue, black, and red, this is Nekazar colors, this is wheel colors, and considering the fact that we have a multitude of wheels in these colors, this would definitely be a great card for a wheel deck itself. Even in the deck itself, wouldn't be a terrible decision. Now, I've been having a hard time figuring out what the best pairing for 11 would be. If you have any suggestions for what kind of pairing 11 would work well with, let me know in the comments down below. Next, we're going to take a look at Lucas the Sharpshooter, a 1/3 for blue and a red legendary human. With a tap, sacrifice an artifact. Lucas the Sharpshooter deals 1 damage to target creature. Goad that creature. Until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. I personally find this is probably the most versatile commander in the group. Lucas himself allows you to ping creatures and you get to goad them on sacrificing your artifacts. And considering a lot of the Secret Lair cards have investigate triggers on them, which means they create clue tokens, you can sacrifice the clue tokens to goad your opponent's creatures, which is really strong considering you can't attack you as long as you're not the only player that you're fighting against. But nonetheless, Lucas is a very versatile creature. Even you can just wipe out little weenie token decks with this. I find his best pairings are with Max the Daredevil, Chief Jim Hopper, and Will the Wise. Next, we're going to look at Max the Daredevil, a 3/2 for 1 red and green legendary human with haste, and whenever you cast your second spell each turn, untap target creature, then investigate. I'm honestly going to say this is my favorite from the bunch, and not because it is in Gruul colors and my absolute favorite colors. That is besides the point. Why I like this card is because this allows you to cast multiple spells per turn, and basically you get to untap one of your creatures and then investigate. Not only are you able to untap one of your creatures that has an activated ability or your mana dorks, this allows you to get more value too by allowing you to put a token that allows you to draw an extra card on top of it. Spellspinner decks would live for this card to be in its decks. That and a 3 mana card that has haste is very good and can be very fast too. So even if you play Max your first turn and then you attack with him, you can still play a second spell and then the ability itself would trigger to let you untap him and then investigate. This is a very versatile card and I really like it. I really find his pairs well with Lucas, Mike the Dungeon Master, and Dustin Gadget Genius. Alright, next we're going to be looking at is Mike the Dungeon Master, a 2/2 for 1 green and white for a legendary human with 2 untap. Choose target creature card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Return it to the battlefield tapped. I'm just very thankful that they didn't print this card to be a direct combo piece. Honestly, this ability is very nice in ETB, enter the battlefield and leave the battlefield LTB trigger decks. Honestly, especially considering whenever somebody leaves the battlefield, it goes in your graveyard, you can use Mike's ability to just get it back just for 2 mana to tap him. Despite the tapping required cost, he's a pretty strong pseudo commander. I really find like he pairs well with a couple of these cards, but I think his best pairing is with Will the Wise, considering whenever Will would go to the graveyard or enter the battlefield, you get to investigate, and I'll explain to you why that's so good, especially with Will, in a little bit. But keep in mind, Mike's ability is really strong and gives him some really strong colors to complement the ability itself. Next we're looking at is Mind Flayer the Shadow, a 9/9 for 4 black legendary enchantment creature horror. Mind Flayer the Shadow isn't a creature unless you control 3 or more permanents you don't own. At the beginning of your end step, exile the bottom card of each opponent's library face down. For as long as those cards remain exiled, you may look at them, you may cast permanent spells from among them, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. This is dirty. This is just a very dirty card. It shares a lot in common with the God cards. Like, to give you an example, the ones from Theros, the first Theros set, like Perforos, it wouldn't become a creature unless it had a specific devotion. And even the cards from Amonkhet, like Ronas the Indomitable, had a little restriction where you can't attack or block unless you have a creature power of 4 or greater. That and the ability to steal opponents' cards and be able to cast them without any restrictions is really strong. Despite the fact it is a very expensive card and I think much more costly than Natalia the Primal Storm, which has a very similar ability except off the top of your deck. Really good. And don't forget, this is also a 9/9. And if you decide to play this as a commander, this is the only card in the Stranger Things drop that doesn't have Friends Forever, obviously so. I would definitely try to build this card in a deck. I have no idea the price on this card as of yet. Once I do, I will definitely be sure to set in motion something for a Brewing with $50 episode on this. No less, this is a really dirty card and I absolutely love it. I may actually just build this deck straight up. And the last commander we're going to be taking a look at in today's video is Will the Wise. Wise, a 1/2 for white-black, legendary human. When Will the Wise enters or leaves the battlefield, each opponent may investigate. Each opponent who doesn't loses 1 life. You investigate X times, where X is 1 plus the number of opponents who investigated this way. As I mentioned to you before with Mike the Dungeon Master, this card is very easily abusable. Whenever it enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, each opponent can investigate. With an infinite loop, you can get enough tokens to draw your entire deck out, and especially pairing this with Mike the Dungeon Master would probably be the best pairing with all the Secret Lair cards. And considering this is a May ability, your opponents can definitely decide not to investigate, and you would only get 1 clue token, which is honestly not completely terrible because you're still getting clue tokens to draw extra cards in your deck. Honestly, this is, like I mentioned to you before without sounding like a complete broken record, this is just an easily abusable card, and with the complete cost of him just being 2 mana to get out, it's a no-brainer that you could add this in with Mike. And his best pairing is with Lucas and with Mike, considering Lucas can just shoot and ping your opponent's creatures and go to them with all the clues you're making from the investigates. Mike, I just explained to you before, but Will is definitely a card to look out for if somebody is going to be playing the Secret Lair drops and doing a partner pairing in Orzhov. And that was all 8 commanders from the new Secret Lair Stranger Things drop. I want to know from you guys, what do you think of these cards? Do you think these are very good commander options, or do you have any reservations about them? Please let me know in the comments down below. You can follow me on my socials, and they're in I'm gonna try to do this in one take. All right. And those were all 8 available commander options from Secret Lair. No. And that was all 8 available commander options from Secret Lair Stranger Things. What do you guys think? Do you guys think... And that was all 8 available new commander options from Secret Lair Stranger Things. I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think of the cards? Do you think these are great commander options, or do you have any reservations about them? Let me know in the comments down below. If you found enjoyment from this content and you want to see some more coming out of this channel, feel free to like this video, share it amongst your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon, because not only would I appreciate it, but it'll help the channel grow, and it'll allow me to branch out to a wider audience and get my videos much more visibility. You can follow my social medias in the show notes down below, but on the bottom left-hand side of your screen is the direct links if you want to follow me through there. My TikTok, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook are all linked there, and that's the way you're going to be able to direct message me for any new ideas you want for a new deck check, for a new gameplay video, for a new podcast video, or any new kind of video you guys want to suggest. Please direct message me through there. And lastly, I post every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That way I get the East and the West Coast early on in the morning. I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this. Stay tuned for next week. I'm not sure what kind of video will be coming out next week, if it's going to be a deck tech to finish off the month of October for spooky season, or if we're going to be doing a gameplay video or another podcast video like this. We will find out next week, and until then, cheers everybody.